In a week's time, voters here in Runcorn and Helsby are going to the polls.
It's a case of trying to give Labour a bloody nose.
I think it's a slog.
OK, let's talk about the rape gangs.
They're going to be voting in a by-election that was called after Mike Amesbury, the Labour MP here, punched a constituent to the ground last October. But this seat, where Labour has a majority of close to 15,000 and has historically formed part of the Red Wall, is thought by many to be going to Reform. But there's a key question here. Can Reform bridge the gap from being a party of protest to a serious contender for power?
Labour, you voted Labour.
We're going to increase your tax.
Get rid of them.
How long have you got?
I totally disagree. As I've said, this is why I'm here.
I'm standing outside Halton Brook Community Centre, where a charity called Four Estates is putting on a community pantry where people from around the area here in Runcorn come to buy things at a heavily discounted rate.
I think people in general are just struggling to make ends meet at the moment. We have definitely had an increase in people using our pantries. People from all walks of life as well. You know, we can have people in that are on benefits and people that work full time.
Is this the first time you've
First time I've been here, yeah.
First time you've been here?
Yeah.
Probably a year I've been coming here for. Mostly because I like it, it gives me company, but more and more lately because I need it.
We're talking to people about the by-election here.
I shall be voting Reform.
I'm probably going to vote Labour, but I am going to find it difficult. I'm disabled and they're cutting all the benefits back.
It's a case of trying to give Labour a bloody nose more than anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for Farage because I think it's a slog.
Do you trust them to run things in Runcorn?
Not really, no. What I'm hoping is they will put the effort in because it'll be one of their first seats.
I feel Labour have let people down, but then again, all the alternatives are just as bad.
Who are you going to vote for next week in the by-election?
Labour.
All Labour?
Yes. Every Reform MP voted against the employment rights bill that's gone through the Commons, but at the same time, they were all on the picket line for the millionaire farmers, weren't they? Racist, the horrible party. They've got nothing to offer but hate.
Originally preparing to vote for Reform. I am now unsure. I was so hopeful and quite honestly, I think the trust has been broken there with that internal squabble with Richard Lowe. People find it really hard to trust anyone at the moment, whether that is government, whether that is any politician, whether that's media. You know, unfortunately, there are just too many lies that have been told.
What's an example of a lie that you feel politicians have
How long have
covered
you
up?
got?
Just one thing recently.
Okay, let's talk about the rape gangs. Why is that not being investigated?
The hard thing with Reform is they've got no history, they've got nothing to relate back to. They're a relatively new party. A lot of people that I've spoken to just sort of see it as a bit of a joke, really.
Nigel Farage is the face of Reform UK nationally, but we wanted to meet the party's candidate vying for this seat. The thing we've been hearing from voters is this sense that Reform are just still a bit unserious as a political party, still more interested in protesting than governing. Do you recognise a glimmer of truth to that?
I would not be standing here and putting my head above the parapet, putting myself at risk, of course, being a candidate in this election, as politicians are now, particularly female politicians. But the point is, I wouldn't be doing all of that unless I really believed in Reform. The Conservatives, for me, failed on so many levels, particularly, but more than anything, they were more concerned with their infighting and their bickering than perhaps some of the national issues.
We were talking to a woman earlier who was saying that she really liked what Reform was saying until the fiasco with Rupert Lowe. A man who has raised £600,000 more for an inquiry into grooming gangs, why is there not space for somebody in Reform who has put the words into action?
Look, I've been brought in as the candidate here in this by-election. I'm interested in these local issues. What's gone before me is I haven't been party to that. So all I'm interested in is focusing on this election. In terms of what goes on centrally, then that's not of interest to me at the moment.
We've come down here St George's Day. What does to you, Sarah, poaching Englishness mean to you?
Well,
does it
St
mean to be
George's
English?
Day is actually particularly important to me because it's my youngest son's birthday, so there you go. But that aside, I am very proud to be British. My father was in the military. I've been brought up in a household that's very much based around British values.
You'd be forgiven for not knowing it was St George's Day today. There was hardly anything in town marking it in any way. We're going to the one place that is.
I got what I got in life.
We'll get shafted.
Our pensioners are dying because of that Labour.
How are you going to vote? Tell us.
Reform. Everyone's always done Labour, Tories, and you can argue the toss all you like, but if you just go for someone else, just one time, just this one time, I'm not saying they're going to change the world, but for someone who's just going to do a little bit more.
Being English can mean absolutely anything, can't it, really? Yeah. I love being English. Well, Scouse English, but you know what I mean? Yeah. We have a good laugh.